Okay, folks, so we got some news. I'm sure many of you who are following my channel are highly aware of this already. For those of you who may not be, so there is going to be a new Virtua Fighter game. New in very big quotation marks. So what's happened over the past weekend is the VF3 is going to be redone for online. And Sega, after some kind of expo that was in Japan, they actually revealed the game and the cabinets that you could play in Japan, only in Japan, which is pretty cool, actually. You know, if you're really big into VF3, which in Japan, there are a lot of players. There is a pretty vibrant current tournament scene for Virtua Fighter 3. And now those players are going to be really happy because now they have a version of the game they can play at the arcades again using modern hardware, and it will also be utilizing the same online infrastructure that is currently available for the Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown. What I understand right now is that the exact same kind of what do we call it? Cabinet structure, infrastructure. I don't fully understand the mechanics of arcade cabinets, but the same hardware that runs Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown will also be able to run VF3 Online, of what's called VF3 Online. And it's Japan exclusive and Japan only. Now, this announcement was met with a lot of negative reception. Not because it's going to be a new Virtua Fighter 3 remake, not even a remake, it's just being kind of tooled for the modern age, aka online, but not modern online like Virtua Fighter 3 online through Fightcade, which uses rollback, or Final Tuned on Fightcade, which also uses rollback. Some of the best online you can play for Virtua Fighter is through Fightcade, and both of those games are on it. So, you know, us and everywhere outside Japan are going to play the game that way. But Japan, you know, they're now going to have this really updated framework to play the game. I'm happy for them. But I have to say, I'm not excited for this news. I'm not excited by this announcement. And I find it to be quite disheartening, actually. Because, yet again, Sega of Japan is releasing something only for Japan that's Virtua Fighter related. And I made a post on Twitter that really blew up saying that this is bad. And that, you know, Sega Japan, you can't say to your consumer base or to your player base that, well, there's not enough demand for Virtua Fighter on the international stage. You can't say that when you repeatedly fail to provide the game to us overseas players on a regular basis. And you could say, oh, well, you know, they gave you Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown. They gave you Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown. Have you know, those of you who are newer to the series, Virtua Fighter 5 Vanilla version C, the one that you can get online, it's called Virtua Fighter 5 Online. It's on PS3 and PS5. That was the last revision before the current version, which is Final Showdown, that we have access to. What you may not know is that between Virtua Fighter 5 Vanilla and Final Showdown was another game that was Japan only. This was called Virtua Fighter 5R. It was a brand new revision of the game, Virtua Fighter 5 Revision. Really, you can call it Virtua Fighter Revision. And what's really unfortunate about that version of the game is that it was Japan only also. Just like Virtua Fighter 4 Final Tune, the last version of Virtua Fighter 4, the complete version of the game, was also Japan only. And it was never released outside of Japan. So really, it's very hard to be a Sega fan and a Virtua Fighter fan when Sega of Japan makes these really annoying and frustrating decisions around their IP, specifically Virtua Fighter, and specifically when they make it so that you just can't play the game. And then they wonder, why is Tekken more popular than our series? Why is Mortal Kombat selling like gangbusters when they throw in all this nonsense DLC, pricings, and people are upset about how they're monetizing the game? And like that, we know that's going to happen because they keep doing it. But Sega keeps with this series for whatever reason. I don't understand the logic behind it. I don't think there is a real logical thought process behind this decision around the series, which is, we just want this to be in Japan. That's really what they're communicating. So this new game version, Virtua Fighter 3 Online, being Japan only, really hurts the series, and it really hurts the brand on a global framework. Am I going to stop playing VF? Of course not. I'm a VF champion. I'm not going to stop playing again. I spent years of my life playing. Like, that would be ridiculous. I hate to see a game series that I really care about, that's important to me. It's important to, like, it's been a major part of my life. To see it so poorly handled in a way that it doesn't need to be. It blows my mind that Sega of Japan just keeps deciding through the series history. Now, I'm not just talking about right now. If it was just this one game, Virtua Fighter 3 Online, wouldn't be a big deal. It'd be annoying, but it wouldn't be a huge deal. But Sega of Japan has a history of not releasing Virtua Fighter games for Western release. And then they have the gall. Yeah, the gall. I find this frankly offensive that they say, well, people in overseas don't want to play our game. You don't provide the game to us in a playable format. We can't get our hands on it. So of course people aren't going to ask for it because they don't know your game. Like, you can't be surprised that people don't want to play your game or don't know your game is there when you don't give people a way to play it. And this may be a hot take, and I'm going to say it anyway. A game being unplayable or inaccessible to be played, I'm going to, in the modern video game, fighting game age, consider online being poor a quality of unplayability. So, for instance, Final Showdown came out with, for its time, good online. For the time it came out. And then time went on. Now we have rollback. DB Fighter Z is about to get a rollback thing, so I'm playing it in the background, on the 30th of this month of November 2023. It's going to get a rollback beta on the 30th of this month. Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown never should have released with its absorbed netcode, which became a meme immediately everywhere outside Japan. I've had people travel from Japan to the States thinking, oh, I'm just one state over from where you are. Of course we'll be able to play in a 4-bar connection. In a green bar connection, it'll be fine because it's fine in Japan. But it's not fine. We played and it was horrible. It was abysmal. And the person was shocked at how bad it is. It's like, yeah, dude, we're just one state away from each other. United States is a very big place. The rest of the world is a big place. And you have internet infrastructures that aren't as good as what's in Japan. So whatever tests they're running internally in Japan that are working for them don't work for everybody else. And so if you want to have a game be successful in the modern fighting game age, you have to have good online. You need to have rollback. That's become the standard. Even Tekken has its bootleg rollback, whatever they call it. I don't even know if it's real or not, but apparently the current version is pretty good. When I hear, I didn't play it, so I don't really know. But I haven't heard people complaining about it. Like I did hear people complaining about Ultimate Showdown when it came out. Even though they had it free, people were like, damn, this is kind of fun, but it's online, it's kind of ass. It feels sluggish online. That's bad. You can't have that. You cannot have that. Your game has to be playable for a global audience. That means your online has to be good. That's a really, I wouldn't say it's a high bar, but it's a bar that's been raised due to the landscape of other fighting games now, which is great. I'm happy about that. Sega isn't doing that right now for whatever reason. I hope for VF6 they will be doing this. Who knows? Maybe part of why Virtua Fighter 3 Online, that new cabinet, is only in Japan because they're using the same online infrastructure as Ultimate Showdown. And they got reamed in reviews, on Twitter, everywhere in the West or outside Japan. Because I don't like calling everybody else just the West. We're not all the West. Like we're just not Japan. Everywhere outside Japan effectively was just livid at the online state. And I think VF3 Online, having the same online netcode, was going to have the same problem. So maybe what they decided was, well, we know this online is going to be a problem outside Japan. We know it works in Japan. So what if we just release it only in Japan and don't even give it to other people to play offline? Wrong lesson to learn. Release it globally. Release it on consoles for people to play. I don't even understand why they spent time developing it if they're not going to make it available for people to buy. Like I don't understand. And all I can say is I hope what's happening is either a building up to an anthology, or they're using this kind of like redoing of the old games as a way to relearn how to develop a modern Virtua Fighter. And if you're doing that, VF5 Ultimate Showdown is basically the pinnacle of the series. It's the end. And it's the end of the VF4 to VF5. But VF4 and VF5 were just refined versions of the same game. VF4 is just a less refined version of VF5. VF3 is a totally different game. Totally different game. So if they want to learn from that one, I think it makes sense to do what they're doing. I just wish they didn't release a game for Japan only. That's it. Japan, Sega Japan, and VF, Aoki, please, you have to stop releasing things for Virtua Fighter only in Japan and then being curious or puzzled as to why your series is not popular outside of Japan. Like, there is a league for VF in Japan only. Nowhere else, just Japan. Again, you can't just support your game in one region and then wonder why isn't it so popular in other areas. Beyond just support, just providing the game. And then beyond providing the game, providing it in a playable state, meaning it can be used online. I see VF lobbies in Japan all the time online. Those lobbies are popping because they can play with great connections. It feels great for them. I love it. I'm so happy for them. I wish it was like that for the rest of us, but it's not. And Sega, you need to fix it. You gotta fix it. If you don't fix it, VF6, it's gonna bomb. It's gonna bomb. And you're gonna be like, well, the West doesn't like our game. International community doesn't like our game. No, we don't want to play trash. Your game is good. We know that. Everyone knows that. The whole video game community knows your games are good. It's in obscurity right now because you haven't made a new game for so long and you haven't updated the game. So please, Sega, update your game. Okay? Stop releasing these things only in Japan. Let us play your game. Stop making it so hard to be a fan of your series. It does more damage to the brand than I think Sega of Japan appreciate. I don't think they appreciate how damaging it is to the image of the series when they do this. So, we'll see. See what happens. That's it. End of your stream. That's all I got for you. Should we watch the video of the release? Should we go over it? Nah, we don't need to. Alright, y'all. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. If you have any thoughts, write some comments in the back, down below, all that jazz. Bye.